Hello there, flesh humans, and welcome to this video. And today I want to talk about my top 5 maddest tunes or craziest cars in this game. And also, because it's Christmas, it's time to do a giveaway. This time, in this video, I'm going to give away 2 treasure maps. To enter the giveaway, well, all you gotta do, like and subscribe, and write a comment of what is your craziest car in Forza Horizon 5. And I'll pick the winner in about 2-3 days. And then I'll contact you in the comments. So like, subscribe, and write a comment. What's your craziest car? Then I'll contact you there. Also, what helps a lot is if you join the Discord server. Link to that is also in the description, because on that server there is also gonna be all the information that you would need about following giveaways and about the channel and also about my other stuff, basically. Now, first thing, number 5, that I pick as my 5th craziest car is the Bentley Blower from 1930 with 1,500 horsepower and a drift setup. As you can see, now there's no tuning applied to it, but as you can already see, this is a bit of a weird car. It's very long, so it doesn't turn very easily. But obviously, when you have 1,500 horsepower and basically just no tires, this is what happens. So this is why this thing is number 5. Oh, look at that. There's the old Audi when Audi wasn't called Audi, which is also a mad car, but it's not as mad as this one, as you can see. Holy shit. That is number 5. What do you think about it? Also, the funny thing is the exhaust is like literally just scraping on the bottom because the springs are so low. So yeah, you just damaged like $10 million worth of car, my man. Anyway, that's number 5. Now, number 4 on the list is this thing, the Ford Deluxe, which is 2 years younger than the Bentley Blower, but nowhere near as long. That's pretty much a hot rod. And also, if you tune this thing to about 1,000 horsepower, you're not going to go very straight either. Now, the wheelbase of this thing is a lot shorter, so it turns a lot better. However, as you can see, the tires themselves are still very, very tiny. But obviously, if you... But also, you have a lot of custom mods for this thing. You can take off the hood completely. You can do all those kind of things, which is very nice car. Now, it's 930 S2, which is pretty much the same as the Bentley, but it's a completely different car in that sense, as this doesn't have a drift setup, but it still does drift very nicely. And obviously, the biggest problem with all these old cars is they come with very bad tires and very, very bad brakes, and also very bad engines, but you know, I think the engine and the tires are what gives you the most benefit, because obviously, if you have 1,000 horsepower and you can't stop, that isn't really a great recipe unless you have a parachute. And you have a pretty big compartment back there, so you could fit a parachute. So, Forza Horizon, make it happen. Let's mount a parachute on this car. And that's the thing, 1,000 horsepower, very small car, very old car. That's why it's definitely on this list, and why it's number 4 of the craziest cars that I own. Time to jump forward in time a bit to 1968, where we have Renault and we have a brown box. Which, well, shouldn't really mean anything, because this brown box does have a rally engine. A very good rally engine at that, and obviously the idea of the craziest car isn't to have a Lamborghini or a Bugatti or something like that, because everyone knows that those are supercars. The biggest thing about a crazy car is to build a absolute sleeper where you don't expect the car to do anything. You know, if you look at this chassis, if you look at this build, you expect about, well, 25 horsepower, an old man named Francois that drives 25 under the speed limit. However, this is no such car. As you can see, it does have an insane amount of power. Try to drift through that, didn't quite work. But as you can see, it is very powerful. It's also very reliable, so let's take a jump. Let's see how far we can get this thing. Hope it doesn't turn, because that jump is a bit too high. Yeah, that's 245 meters in a 1970s car, or 60s rather. So, definitely, this is one of the craziest cars I have, because it's just so, like, normal, so boring. But with a rally engine, and with obviously the tire upgrades and all those kind of things, and a tire on top in case you just melt them, because obviously with this much power, you gonna have quite a lot of wheel spin. So you want to have a reserve tire on top. And with this kind of car, it definitely deserves a spot on the craziest cars, because it's obviously, it's so boring, but so interesting at the same time. And at number 2, we obviously have to have the Willys on this list, because the S2 at 920, this is just an absolutely mad car, and this is pretty much the opposite of the Bentley, where very short wheelbase, very maneuverable, turns very fast, as you can see, almost turns too fast. Obviously insanely well at off-roading. The center of gravity is also very low, so it's very hard to flip this car. It's from 1945, and if you upgrade all those older cars, then obviously you can get a lot of power out of them, and it doesn't really have that much weight either. And that's pretty much the formula. A lot of old car, not a lot of weight, put on a lot of power, put on good tires, and then just let the magic unfold. And if you go cross-country with this thing, you can also see how stable it is. You know, it doesn't really just jump around like crazy. Which is very important, because obviously the more the car stays on the ground, the more grip you retain when you're off-road. Which is definitely why this thing deserves a place on this list, because it's the ultimate off-road crazy car. And at number 1, we have the Bean car, because why would there be anything else? The BMW iZ with about 530 kilos of weight and 670 horsepower of engine, which I don't really understand. There's probably some kind of rocket engine here, and a stock gearbox, which means this car currently can't do more than 168 kilometers an hour. Now, what I tried to do is I tried to make it go 169, but as you can see, it doesn't really go there, only if you go downhill, which isn't really that great, so that's a lot of minus points there, that it can't go 169. But certainly, with this kind of weight, and this kind of size as well, and that kind of power, it definitely has to be the craziest car that I have. I'm maybe gonna try to do the Goliath in this car. We'll see. But that's a thing for a future video. Hope you enjoyed. What is your craziest car? As you see, if you want to participate in the giveaway, put it in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe as always. And yeah, see you for the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.